Hello!
Hello! Hiya!
And welcome to the last episode we're going to record tonight, because I just couldn't be fucking arsed recording anymore.
It's the last episode we record tonight, but we'll be posting probably daily this week.
Probably, we're going to wear the same clothes in all episodes as well. Like, so.
You might not. Hold on, let me just
please pass no judgment.
Yeah. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna leave soon, don't worry. Jesse's gonna come back.
Engine freeze shenanigans.
The engine freeze, lads. Since it's topical at the moment.
It is
yes.
topical.
So Helmut Marko and Cyril whatever the fuck his name is,
Cyril Abitibol
have called for, I think you probably know the story, they've called for an engine freeze for the 2019 and 2020 season, where basically you can't work on your engine for those 2 years, so then that they can focus all their money on the 2021 regulations. So opinions.
It's a good idea.
I got a question. Why is Renault calling for it? Like, surely they're the ones that are gonna get fucked over the most.
They're the teams with the least amount of money.
Yeah, sure, but like they're gonna be behind for the whole 2 years, because there's no way they're gonna be on par with Merc and Ferrari.
Yeah, but the thing about it, right, is that Merc, their engine had, what was it, 50 more horsepower roughly coming towards the end of the V8 era. So Merc just said, right, fuck it, lads, whatever engine we have now for 2012, you have that 2014 or whatever. Everybody's like, alright, fine, yeah, we'll let them catch up. And then they spent all that time developing the engine they have now.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I get that, but I think any Renault powered engine, any Renault powered car from here to 2021 is not gonna be capable of winning a championship.
Probably not, no. But what we're saying is, though, is that if the regs are frozen, all teams are going to work towards their engines for the new regs. So rather than teams burning money, because the new engine regs are supposedly going to be fucking a big shake up anyway.
Shake up.
The current teams don't want them to be a big shake up, but they are going to shake it up to bring in more manufacturers.
But you're saying about Renault not actually being able to win a championship in, like, any Renault powered team being able to win a championship in the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. But Marko and Arbitwell, or Cyril, I can't say his name.
Big Sea Dog
have called for all engines in terms of their horsepower output to be within 3% of each other. Like, that's communism.
It is.
It's going to be the easiestly. That's a lovely word.
Yes.
The easiestly flaunted rule, because, like, how are they going to determine the horsepower of the engine? They're going to have to basically bring it to a dyno that the FIA have certified as being the dyno, and then run it. And all the team's going to do is just fucking detune the engine, stick it in, and just say,
the Merc will show off spluttering like a Massey 135.
Exactly. And then I think it's a case of, as well, who do you benchmark it to? Like, do you benchmark it to Honda, or do you benchmark it to Mercedes?
I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. Or add all four together and then divide it by four.
Average engine.
And
then it comes again, updates. If you bring an engine update, can the update only be for reliability or fuel efficiency, or
what they're saying is for
the horsepower?
Renault were saying that it's a good idea because all 3 teams will be within 3%. All 4 teams will be within 3% of their horsepower output. But the teams will make their advantage in fuel efficiency. And everything else, so then that the car will be lighter on the grid or whatever. But another point they were making was that, and I think they're bullshitting, like, they're definitely bullshitting here.
Can I just interject before you go further?
Yeah.
What team isn't trying to make the most fuel efficient engine they have?
None of them. They're all trying to be fuel efficient.
Yeah, they all are.
Obviously,
Actually, I think that's the reason Merc is so much better than, for example, Honda. Like, Honda is not that bad, I think, by my knowledge in itself.
It's their electronic
compared to every engine on the road.
They just use too much fuel, so they have to cut it down. So I think the 3% gap between the engines wouldn't make any sense, because
Merkel's still dominant.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they're doing.
But
they're more efficient.
3% of 1,000 horsepower is still only like what?
30.
Yeah.
But, like, another thing they're saying is that they want, obviously, the 3%, but they're saying that Mercedes and Ferrari are burning 0.6 litres of oil every race. But Renault said, we're only burning 0.1. That's ridiculous. Like, that's bullshit. They're lying. Of course they're burning 0.6. Everyone's burning 0.6 because it gives you extra performance.
Yeah.
Well, no, they probably aren't. They probably just haven't figured out how to burn the other 0.5.
So
that's not that difficult.
Like, Mercedes apparently last year were burning like 1 point something litres.
Or even
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But even still now, Ferrari, if you just look at a Ferrari from behind, you can see the trail of smoke. So.
Which, like, remember on the grid, whenever the Mercs used to, like, take off, like, it's just a big fucking blue cloud.
It's brilliant. What's not helping Renault is Red Bull throwing them under the bus every fucking week. I look in the news. It's so irritating.
But no, to be fair, Renault have had 4 seasons now to catch up, and they haven't.
Yes.
You know,
like Ferrari have caught up. They're still not on par with Mercedes.
No,
They've caught up.
They're like compared Ferrari 2014 versus Ferrari 2018.
Oh wow!
No,
what a jump!
Yeah, they've made a massive leap forward.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like Renault still hasn't. Honda, God, they've gone backwards. Like
fucking tractor.
It's like they've gone.
Well, I mean,
Honda have gone further backwards than some of their valves have. Like you know.
In their defense, I think Ferrari knew what they done wrong in 2014.
They did.
So they just knew what to upgrade,
what to fix.
And once they cracked the turbulent jet injection as well, like they were on the pig's back at that stage.
With the Mercedes, the layer of their engine is incredible. Apparently, it was an aero guy who came up with it to split the turbo in two.
Of course, it was.
It wasn't actually.
The only smart guys in Formula 1 are the aero guys.
Apparently, I think Toto Wolff sent they got all their engineers into the department to brainstorm it, and someone said, "Why don't we split the turbo in two?" And they're like, "Oh, that could work."
Having a brief experience with the Formula 1 team that won't be named in this show.
You?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I heard their chief engineers say he needs to learn his fucking place. It's the aerodynamicist who designs the car here.
That's a very good state. I like that comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was very violent.
Let us know in the comments who you think it was. We're not going to tell you who it was, but let us know who you think it was.
Yeah.
Solve the puzzle.
So, engine freezing, ridiculous?
No, I'm in favour of it.
I think it's ridiculous. I don't think a team should be hindered just because they can't, just because they've done a better job than everyone else.
Do you think if the Renault engine was in the Merc, it would beat the Red Bull and Ferrari?
No, definitely not. The Merc engine it's like not just the engine, the power unit. It's more drivable. It's more fuel efficient. It harvests more energy with the it doesn't harvest, but it harvests more efficiently and whatever. It's tighter packaged. Like, and that all comes down to splitting the turbo because they need less intercoolers and everything to have tighter bodywork.
Yeah, but
you stick a Renault engine in there, it's going to be a fatter car.
Yeah, even the intake. I think there's a special intake which helps them to save fuel. So I mean, it is stuff that is not that hard to copy, but it is difficult to tune and to properly integrate in the engine you already have. So yeah, I think. To freeze the engine regulations so late now, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't think it makes
they
sense.
already put it down from the beginning. So in 2014 they said, okay, these engines are gonna be frozen from 2016 or 2017. Maybe that would have made sense.
Was there a level of freezing though towards the end of the V8 era?
Yes, there was
last season
a big deal.
Yeah.
A big deal, and that also made sense because the engines were almost on par within each other.
Like, I can say that though, the Renault engine was the most dominant engine, but it was still 50 horsepower down in the
Yes.
Yeah, but like
because it still wasn't an engine formula, so it made sense not to develop.
But it was difficult to make gains with the V8s because they've been there so long. They've been there since 2006, like
that as well.
That's true, yeah.
8 years. Whereas this is their 5th season.
Yeah,
It's only 3 off, but still like.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it's been like the 5th season of the new V6s.
Yeah, I know it's. Time flies.
I
like new V6s.
Yes.
I'm looking forward though to the next gen engines. They are going to be a lively engine. Like,
what are they suggesting?
They're suggesting keeping the 1.6 turbo, but having manual ARS-K.
I really like that. Yes.
And they're letting them rev out to 18,000 rather than 15,000.
So they'll be louder.
Yeah, theoretically louder and
more power.
The engine noise would be a bit better.
But
It's
then
not
again,
as growly, you know.
They're going to be more unreliable then because they're revving 3,000 RPM higher.
No, because
Bring
they're
back
not.
a fourth engine.
No, because they're not gonna put in the MGUH, which
Yeah.
I think is a shame because that's one of the technologies they should develop in Formula 1.
Yeah, I think the new regs are kind of a step backwards.
Well, they are somewhat of a step back. Well, then again, saying that, like if you get the ICE thermal efficiency up, you can compensate like for the. Well,
I mean,
the 2014 engines versus these engines. If you were to remove the MGUH now, you wouldn't be that far off the 2014 engines, I would think.
No.
In terms of like additional performance. What I would be concerned about is how they're going to deal with turbo lag.
Exactly.
Because at the moment, like the MGUH is what compensates for the turbo lag.
It does compensate for it, yeah.
And also that and the automatic deployment of the MGU-K.
Yeah.
So if I don't get how they're gonna be able to press the button the drivers during the race because
Unless,
they're gonna have like 30 seconds worth of energy.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to press down a button for 30 seconds each lap for every lap of the race.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense.
It's a bit ridiculous, I think.
Well, I suppose the case of as well, though, you can set your harvest, and they're probably going to have a bigger battery pack.
Yeah. So
like they might only save power for 10 laps of the race, and then use it as a method of spooling up the turbo the rest of the race. Like the teams might allow you, say, okay, I can have I don't know, just for sake of example, 1,000 kilowatt hour battery in your car.
Yeah.
And teams might only just put in a 500 kilowatt hour and then only use it as.
Yeah.
Like
So
they're not going to carry. Nobody fills with full fuel, so nobody's going to bring a full battery. I think they're going to do whatever their simulation tells them is the quickest way to get around the lap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
Honda, like, they're probably going to switch to all electric because it'll just be more sensible for them.
a proper hybrid. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think it would make more sense to split up the hybrids, like the engine recovery energy from like say 20-30% to manual and the rest to automatic.
That way
like
you
it
can
is now.
compensate for the turbo lag.
Yeah, because like I don't see how they can implement it without being a nightmare for the
Yeah,
drivers.
it'd be crazy, like, yeah.
So
I think into that, it would bring the better drivers out. Well, the smarter drivers.
I don't think so. They're all clever. All drivers are clever.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're forced to like think about the turbo along with it, like back like when we had cars on its own, you used to pick out like a driver that was very good with their cars from a driver that wasn't great with their cars. If they have to consider, okay, you know what, I might have an extra 5 seconds cars this lap, but I'm going to lose all my turbo coming out of turn 5. What happens?
They'll know from the data from doing practice 1. They'll know where and when to do it. And they'll know it before even getting there from running in the simulator.
Yeah.
Somebody will still fuck it up. Like, they're bound to. They're only human at the end of the day.
See, you get a lot of people suggesting things like this. Like I remember coming into the 2014 season, there was a lot of people suggesting with the fuel, like how low they're going to be in fuel and everything, that nobody was going to go out and pull gaps over 6 seconds in the lead and win by dominance, because then if there's a safety car,
It's all we've fucking seen.
Yeah.
But then we saw Hamilton in the second race of the season winning by like 20 something seconds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the new engine regs, I'm happy. I'm kind of excited to see the new engine regs actually.
Yeah,
Even though I'm not.
it's time for a change.
It is time for change.
It is. I'm getting awful bored of these engines.
Although they're much younger than any other engines we've ever had. So.
But the V10s weren't around for long. Well, actually, no, they were around a long time.
Ooh, I think they were
Late
still
90s.
coming from the
93, wasn't it? To like.
Wasn't there still a bit of freedom in the late 90s?
Late 90s. Late 90s. I know in the early 90s you could run V12 or
Yeah.
V10. I suppose that's about it, really.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It's our big rant.
Engine's done.
Yeah.
Our big rant on engine regs.
So, engine freeze. Good for everybody, especially Renault.
Not Mark.
Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next episode.
Like and subscribe.
Hopefully we'll have changed clothes by then.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
See
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.